Hello, hello, hello. What is up, people? Welcome back to the podcast. Now, welcome to episode 10. Let me know if the Wi Fi is odd because it's been a bit odd today, but let me know. And my fucking cat is right at the door as I start the show. That's so great. Let me bring him in. Here's the cat. Ugh. There he is, making his debut appearance on the podcast. Say hi to Merlin. Absolute dog. Pain in the ass. Etienne cat reveal. How's the Wi-Fi, by the way? Is it good? I'm trying to use my hotspot, but it says it's going like shit. Um, I tried the house Wi-Fi. It was a little choppy, so I'm trying my hotspot, but it still kind of says it's unstable. Is it okay? All right. Well, welcome to episode numero cinco. Just a little lumpy. Well, okay. Uh, I might switch back over to my house Wi-Fi. See how it looks. But camera's a bit blurry. Okay. Well, I'll just shout out everybody that has joined. All right. Take care, Derek. Good luck to your Timberwolves. Let me shout out who's in here. Donkey Kong making a rookie appearance. Appreciate you for joining. It's just cleared up. Actually, it's just focus. Okay. Shift. Welcome. Xavier, obviously. Malik. Shout out to you. Coach Walk. My man Spoon. Who else is in here? I think that's it. Shift, obviously. Is Cinco 5? Did I get that wrong? What's 10? Did I get Cinco mixed up? I took 3 years of fucking Spanish and I still don't know what 10 is. Is Cinco 5? No, it's Diaz. Jesus Christ, I'm an idiot. Why did I think Cinco was 10? God. All right, well. Jesus. Okay, well, that's just great. Awesome. Keep saying the connection's unstable, so we'll just rock with it as long as you guys can hear me. The camera might be a little. Of course, Ocho Cinco. Yeah, fuck. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. My Spanish teacher used to torture us with his garlic breath. Yeah, that is true. That is very true. Well, appreciate you guys. Yeah, I know it's all coming back to me now. I just got mixed up. It's all coming back to me now. Well, appreciate you guys for tuning in. Today we got I might do another show tomorrow before the draft, but final preparations for the draft. I'm going to be going over the 10 teams that I believe are under the most pressure entering the draft and the teams that are under the most pressure to have a good draft. And I've also got my most wanted list for the Los Angeles Rams. So we're going to be going through that stuff today. Lakers Timberwolves is on, so I'm not going to drag this out too long because I want to watch that game. And I'm sure some of you guys do as well. But first of all, I want to ask, how do you guys feel about the Pistons last night? Big dub against the Knicks. How are we feeling about them so far? Make sure to like the stream as well. How are we feeling? Shout out to all you guys for joining. Facts. We do ball here. Huge W. Yeah, first win for you guys since, what was it, 2008? I was 2 years old back then. Jesus. Pistons in 5. I think Pistons in 7. That was my prediction before. Yeah, Thursday is going to be popping in Detroit. Thursday is going to be fun. You got the draft and the Pistons' first home playoff game in how long? Yeah, very good win. Impressed with Cade. That Dennis Schroeder shot at the end. Woo! Jalen Brunson was fucking flopping a lot as well, man. That was fucking crazy. It is. I will say about you Detroit fans, you guys are hardcore. Like, one of the most hardcore fan bases in the country. Oh, it will. I think you guys are gonna win. Yeah, Brunson definitely. He's a great player, but God, that foul baiting, was crazy, man. Like, he's a good player, but Jesus, that was a little much. It was a bit corny as well. He's like putting up 3 when he got fouled on a 3-pointer. It's like, all right. Yeah, that was pretty bad. I hate the fouls that get called in the NBA. That's something that really, really irks me about the NBA, is how many cheap fouls there are. It's so, like, it's not a, like, I'm not a fan. Embiid, yeah. Magikarp. By the way, who do you guys think is going to be in the finals? I got Thunder versus Celtics. Shocker. I think the Celtics win again. But yeah, I got Thunder Celtics. That's what I think happens. Brunson is that one officer who tailgates you, so you speed so he can. That's funny. I think Thunder Celtics. Cavs looked really good the other day as well. The Grizzlies are getting fucking murked though. Cavs Thunder, I could see it. Funny. The whole entire internet's roasting Jalen Brunson for that. It's not just Detroit fans. Everybody's noticing. There we go. Thunder versus Cleveland. I could see that. That'll be a pretty sick finals. That would be pretty sick. All right. I am going to get into this list that I made now. Okay. Brunson's I gotta say no more Mr. Nice Guy when he yeah. He would do some corny shit like that. He's a good player though. I do like him. I just think the flop baiting was a little crazy and the foul baiting. But we're gonna get into this list. Now, since the draft is on Thursday, I thought I would do the 10 teams that I personally believe are under the most pressure entering the draft, and basically under the most pressure to nail the draft. It's based on, it could be based on people's job security. It could be based on you're right there at the hump and you need to have that draft to get you over the hump. It's based on a few different things, different reasons for each team, but I made a top 10 list of teams that I think they got to nail the draft. They got to nail the draft. So I will pull this up for you guys. All right. 10 teams under the most pressure entering the NFL draft. And at number 10, I'm going to start off with Dallas. When you pay your quarterback like Dak Prescott $60 million a year, you really got to hit on draft picks. And like I've said there, the team is you got Dak, you got CD, you got Micah, and you don't have a whole lot else. There's not a lot of depth. If any of those players get hurt, you're in trouble. Like if CD gets hurt, you got no receivers. If Micah gets hurt, your whole defense falls apart. Like they need depth. They need some players. And they're going to have Dak, CD, and Micah Parsons on big contracts. So that just gives you even less, wiggle room. So I think the Cowboys have got to go out there and get a receiver, get some players on defense, get some offensive line help. But I do think that they need to draft well. They have drafted well in recent years, but I think that they are, I think the teams that are under more pressure, but I think the Cowboys are at number 10 for me. I think they're a worthy number 10. Number 9, I got the Steelers for one reason and one reason only. Again, I kept it short and sweet here. What the hell are we doing at quarterback? If you look at their depth chart, they got Skylar Thompson and Mason Rudolph as their 2 quarterbacks. Nobody knows what they're doing with Aaron Rodgers. Nobody knows what Aaron Rodgers is doing. What are we doing at quarterback? If they don't exit this draft with a quarterback, there's going to be a lot of questions asked. Because I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is the answer. And if they continue to just go with stopgaps at quarterback, they're probably just going to be a 10-win team every year that just, flames out at the end of the year. But if they can get the quarterback right, if they can, draft Jackson Dart and turn him into a really good player, maybe Jalen Milroe, Tyler Shuck, whoever, Rodgers is holding them hostage. But I think they just got to figure out their quarterback position ASAP, in my opinion. And I think they're under pressure to address that position. At number 8, I think the Chargers are under a bit of pressure, just not for the same reasons that the other teams are. But I just think for these reasons, you got to continue to support Justin Herbert. You got to add to the interior of the offensive line a bit more. You got to get him another weapon. And in addition, I do think that the Chargers, they're under pressure in a different way than Dallas, because like the Chargers aren't desperate like Dallas and Pittsburgh, but it does feel like they're kind of on the cusp, and it feels like they're giving me a team vibe wise that could get stuck at like 11 wins, first round exit. That is good, but just can't quite get over the hump. If they nail this draft again, I think they'll take another step towards being really legit contenders. And again, the Chiefs could be, I think the Chiefs in the next 2-3 years could be, they're not going to be rebuilding, but I think over the next 2 years, you're going to see two of the weaker Chiefs teams we've seen. And the Chargers, as long as Mahomes and Reed are there, they're not going to have many opportunities to win the division. Even if Reed retires, even if Mahomes is there, he's going to generate really good teams every year. And I think this could be a year where they take a little bit of a step back. So I think the Chargers, they got to capitalize. And Denver is starting to, come on the rise. You got the Raiders who seem to know what they're doing now. So the Chargers, they got to capitalize. The AFC is a little weaker. I think if they get a good draft going, then they could really make some noise. If they don't, I could see them kind of being stuck in neutral as like an 11-win team, kind of like the Steelers, but with the better quarterback. They're almost the opposite of the Steelers, as in like the Steelers have a really good roster. They can't figure out the quarterback and the offense. The Chargers have a really good quarterback, and the roster is a little lacking. They lost Poona Ford and Joey Bosa, so they got to add to that defense a bit more. I think the Chargers got to find a few more key pieces in this draft. I think they do. At number 7, I got the Packers for similar reasons to the Chargers, actually. I feel like they're on the cusp, but it feels like they're kind of stuck. They didn't really make moves in free agency, which is putting more pressure on them in the draft. If they got a guy like DK Metcalf or a big free agent like Josh Sweat or something like that, they'd be under a bit of, less pressure. But they didn't really do anything in free agency aside from Nate Hobbs and Aaron Banks. Nobody knows if Jair Alexander is going to be there. So I think that they got to have a good draft, or else they could, like the Chargers, get stuck at 10 wins. And Jordan Love's contract isn't really kicking in yet. So the Packers don't have all day. They gotta take that jump. And I think they weren't aggressive in free agency, so their only option really is through the draft. They got to get Jordan Love an extra weapon, and I think they will. But I do think that they got to nail the draft, and they've got 3 picks, I think, in the top like 70. So I could see them taking like a wide receiver. If Matthew Golden's on the board, you got to take him. You got to take a good edge rusher. They need a corner. They need to kind of nail those 3 positions. If not, I think there's a cap to how good they can be, because I don't think Jordan Love's a Josh Allen-esque quarterback who can just win regardless. I think he needs a receiver that he can rely on to just kind of throw the ball up to every once in a while, like, maybe a Jaden Higgins or something like that. Because I don't think the Packers have a good group, but they don't really have that one Jamar Chase, Terry McLaurin, like, guy that their quarterback can just go to when he's under pressure. So I think they need to address that. I need to address the defense a bit. And I think if they can, they'll be right there, but they got to do it because they didn't spend free agency. At number 6, Cleveland Browns. I thought of putting them higher. I really did. But the only reason I don't have them a bit higher is because I don't get the vibe that Stefanski is on. I don't get the vibes that his seat is super hot. I feel like they do like him and they do want to keep him. And I think that if they do maybe draft a quarterback, or they have a good class and they could get to maybe 6 wins, it might buy him a bit more time. I could see an argument for putting them higher. Because like I said here, the Garrett contract, I think if they didn't re-sign Garrett and they traded him, they would have really nobody So I don't think there would be much pressure because they'd just be in a full-on rebuild. So I do think they are under pressure. I did think about putting them higher, but I don't find, yeah, like Xavier said, I don't think this draft isn't going to make or break them. And there's a few teams ahead of them who, if this draft will kind of make or break them a little bit. But I do think the Browns, they got to figure out the quarterback spot. If you're going in with Joe Flacco as your quarterback 1 in 2025, that's just not the answer. They got to draft somebody, in my opinion. And I do think that if they get to 6-7 wins, I don't think they will, but that could buy Stefanski a bit more time. And I don't think he's on the hot seat like a few other coaches ahead of the Browns are. So I'm going to put the Browns at 6. At number 5, I have the Houston Texans here. And Malik said it earlier, and I completely agree. And I said it in all caps, and I will say it till the cows come home. Protect CJ Stroud, please. You trade away Laramie Tunsil. You got old-ass Trent Brown there at right tackle. What are we doing on the offensive line? Because their team, aside from this, is set to me. Their defense, I think, has the chance to be the best defense in the league this year. They got a new play caller in place. They got Joe Mixon. They've got Nico Collins. I think CJ Stroud has all the makings of a great quarterback. I think last year was just a bit of a slump. But if they can, it really comes down to if they protect him. And if they can nail this offensive line and maybe get, I agree, Malik, and maybe add another wide receiver. Like, if this offensive line is just average, I could see this team representing the AFC in the Super Bowl. I'm serious. Like, I really, really do think that they have all the makings of a team that can go far because of their defense, because of their coaching, because of the quarterback, because of the key fundamental pieces. And also, CJ Stroud, he's on a rookie contract. He's not going to be on a rookie contract forever. You got to capitalize. You got to give yourself the best chance to win. And I think if they waste his rookie contract with a terrible offensive line the whole entire time, then that would just be a disaster. They'd be failing CJ Stroud in that case. So I think they have to nail the offensive line. They got to get maybe an extra wide receiver. And if they don't, I think they could easily be a team that just goes 10-7, 11-6, and just flames out in the playoffs because they can't protect CJ Stroud. If they can nail the offensive line, if they can get like a Gray Zabel and then an Antoine Irsay, Klotzy's guy, in the second round, and they both pan out, this is going to be a fantastic draft class. And I think it could lead to great results because I think the Texans are right there, man. Number 4, I have the Cincinnati Bengals, man. The reason they're ahead of the Texans is because of the job security of Zach Taylor. There's a bit of unease in Cincinnati. They got to figure out this defense. And their last 3 draft classes have really, really been terrible. They're the best player they've drafted in the last 3 years is arguably Cam Taylor-Britt, which is pretty shocking. And we saw it last year. We saw it the year before. Unless they figure out this defense, they're not winning anything anytime soon. They could be competitive with a bad defense, but it's time to nail the defense. It's time, and I'll go through some of their draft picks in the last 3 years. Their defensive picks: Chris Jenkins barely played, McKinley Jackson, Miles Murphy didn't turn out to do anything, DJ Turner, okay, Jordan Battle, Dax Hill, Cam Taylor-Britt. Like, they've just whiffed. Like, not all those guys are whiffed or are whiffs, but I think you got to do a better job, and especially when Burrow's making $50 million a year, that puts pressure on you when it comes to drafting. You got to draft better, and Burrow should not have to play perfect every single week in order to have a chance to win. And I do think Zach Taylor is going to overstay his welcome, but if they can't nail this draft class again, people are gonna have to start asking questions about him and Duke Tobin, because that'll be 4 draft classes in a row where they don't get a good player. Get a Walter Nolan, get a Kenneth Grant, a Michael Williams, something on that defense. Get a secondary player. Get a guard. They barely have a guard on the roster. They need to start drafting well, or else Burrow's prime is going to slowly get wasted, and he's going to turn to the next Dan Marino. Number 3, got the San Francisco 49ers here, man. I think that there's a multitude of reasons. Firstly, similar to Cincinnati, the last 3 draft classes have really dug them a bigger hole than people want to admit. That Trey Lance trade, it didn't show up at the time, but the effects of that trade are being felt because you see when they lose a Greenlaw, they lose a Hufanga, they lose those types of players. And you look at their roster and you're like, holy shit, their roster is quite thin. And it's because they've not been nailing these draft picks. Like the last few drafts, look at some of these players: Drake Jackson, Danny Gray. Like they drafted Jake fucking Moody in the 3rd round. And they're going to be paying Brock Purdy. So if you're paying Brock Purdy $50 million and you're not hitting on draft picks, you're not going to win anything. Same goes for any quarterback. Look at the Bengals. Joe Burrow is a much better quarterback than Brock Purdy, and they've not been winning because he's been on an expensive contract and they haven't drafted well. So the Niners, even some of the good players have gotten the roster. Kittle is in his 30s. Trent Williams is getting older. So is Warner. So is Bosa. They need to start hitting on draft picks. They really do. They need to start setting up this second window, or else they could be in for some rough seasons. And then that Purdy contract could age poorly if they don't start drafting well. As a Rams fan, I'm cool with it. They can keep messing up the drafts, but that Trey Lance, that really did mess them up. And their 1st round pick last year, Ricky Pearsall, he's good, but I don't think he's the impact player that they need right now. So they gotta start hitting on these draft picks, man, or else it's gonna start to go south for San Fran. Number 2, the Giants. This is mainly because they're similar to Cleveland, except Joe Sheen and Brian Daboll are literally coaching for their job. If they don't win 6, 7, 8 games, they are gone. I don't get that vibe with Stefanski. What's the plan at quarterback? Are they going to draft a guy, or are they just rolling with Wilson and Winston? And if you are rolling with Winston and Wilson, I think that just makes the leash even shorter because you don't sign Russell Wilson if you're trying to tank, I don't think, because he's like the 20th best QB in the league, to where he'll will you to 6 wins, but there's not a clear tanking plan. So it's not like they're just going to get away with tanking the whole year like I think the Browns could because they've got Joe Flacco. So they need to figure out the quarterback. They need to start winning games. And like I said, if they don't opt to take a quarterback, it will only shorten the leash of Sheen and Daboll, or however you say Joe. Is it Joe Sheen? Joe Shane? I don't know how the hell you say his name. But he's under a lot of pressure. They didn't trade up for Daniels. They could have, but they didn't. They traded away Saquon Barkley, or they got rid of Saquon Barkley, let him go to the Eagles. If it wasn't for Joe Sheen, the Eagles would not have a Super Bowl. It's disgusting. They need to get their shit together. And I do actually agree that Daboll is a good coach. He's getting fucked over by the Giants. They need to just cut the shit. Take Travis Hunter. All right. Take a, wide receiver or something, an offensive lineman. Figure it out. And I think they can, put together a 7-win season, but and if they don't do that, if they whiff on the draft, if they take Shadur Sanders and they sit him the whole year and you miss out on Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter and they just whiff on every other pick, those guys are gone. If you don't win at least 7, 8 games, they're gone. I actually do agree with you guys that Daboll, he's a solid coach. He made Daniel Jones a $40 million a year player. Imagine you put Brian Daboll on I'm trying to think, the Dolphins or something, and you give him a quarterback that's a little better than Tua. Dolphins wouldn't be where they are right now. I think if you put him on a team like the Commanders with that offense is cooking. I do like Brian Daboll, but the reality is he's on the hot seat and they got to start hitting on these picks. And the team that I believe is under the most pressure, and I think Malik is going to like this, and right on cue, I think the Dolphins, it's looking bleak. And I think my camera's gone a little blurry. I'll figure that out in a minute. But Dolphins, man, you got to figure this out. Chris Grier, is that how you say his name? And Mike McDaniel, they're on the hot seat, just like Joe Sheen and Daboll. And I think the Dolphins are they're on the ropes, man. I don't like what they got going on. They paid Tua. Say it louder for the people in the back. I will say it louder. They paid Tua, and he can't stay healthy. They got to figure out a way to protect him, first of all. The team's only getting older. They got Terran Armstead. Tyreek Hill's got more baby mamas than he does touchdowns in the last 2 years. Jalen Ramsey wants out of town. Jalen Phillips is good. Didn't they lose Xavier Howard? I think they lost Javon Holland as well. And you're signing their big signing is Nick Westbrook-Akine and Zach Wilson. And so yeah, they got to get talent. They got to get talent soon, or else Greer's gone, McDaniel's gone. They're 15. It might actually be 15 kids. But if they don't start winning soon, if they don't get these picks right, Greer's gone, McDaniel's gone. It wouldn't surprise me if Tua was gone. Tyreek Hill is probably going to request a trade. Jalen Ramsey is going to be out of there. Taron Armstead is going to retire. It's going to be, you might as well, at that point, you might as well have a picture of Jalen Waddle as your logo because he's going to be the only player on their team that's decent. I think they could be in for a very serious rebuild if they don't start winning games, man. And like Malik said, if they don't protect Tua, there's only so much you can take. So those are the 10 teams that I believe are under the most pressure entering the NFL draft. What do you guys think? Any teams I missed there? Oh, Jesus. Hold on a minute, guys. Let me fix. There it is. Okay. Hill is Sean Kemp of the NFL. He really is, man. He really is. Any other teams you thought should have been on there? I think I saw Malik's comment. Let me find it. I did think of putting the Panthers on there, Malik. I did think of putting the Panthers on there. Patriots, yeah, but I think it's the start of the new regime, Vrabel. Nobody's job is in danger. Like, I think they can I think the Patriots have the most to gain from this draft. Like, they could really make a push for 10 wins if they nail this draft. I don't think they're under a ton of pressure. Bears, yeah, but similar to the Patriots, they're on their regime is new. At least Ben Johnson is. I think they're kind of on the cusp as well. Like, they could have been in there. Lions, I think your roster is still a top 5 roster in the league, even if you draft poorly, but there is obviously pressure there for you guys to get over the hump, but I don't think quite as much as the teams in the top 10. Okay, I'm shocked the Lions aren't on here. Yeah, I mean, I don't think you're as reliant. Like, you still got a really, really good team. Now, when Goff's contract starts to kick in and you start to pay all these other players, then yes, I think it starts to ramp up because when you pay all those players like the Bengals are, like the Chargers are now doing with Herbert, that's when you need to start hitting. I don't think the Lions are there yet because you guys still have the core pieces. You've got Jared Goff. You've got, Jahmyr Gibbs still on a rookie contract. Panay's contract hasn't really kicked in to my knowledge. Same with Branch, same with Kirby, Hutch as well. Like, I think you guys are getting there. And if you don't win a Super Bowl this year and those contracts start to, I need to look in the camera instead of at the screen. When those contracts start kicking in, then I think you start to be under more pressure. But I don't think you're quite there yet. I think us fans put more pressure on our team than we honestly should. Yeah. I mean, fans are always going to be erratic, that's just how it is. It's the same with the Rams. Kyren Williams fumbles one ball and everybody hates him, like that's just how fans are, But yeah. All right, let me I want to ask you guys first before I get into mine. I'll do this, then we'll do mailbag, then we'll wrap the show up. Doing a bit of a shorter show. I want to ask you guys, who is like your top players that you would love to be on the Lions? Like your most wanted list. Like, I've got a top 5 here that I'll show you guys for the Rams. Well, who's on your guys' most wanted? Who are the players that you guys want most for the Lions? I'm interested. I want to see who the top targets are for you guys. Burn it all down facts. That's where Miami's at, man. That's where Miami's at. I think the Patriots are easily the second best team in that division. But who's on the most wanted list? Who do we want? 7 people in here. Shout out. How many likes we got? Oh, shit. I can't go on my phone because I'm using a hotspot. All right. Wi-Fi is working better. Yeah, realistic, like first round targets. like players that are realistic, but you would also like. James Pierce, Green, Kenneth Grant, Mason Graham, or is that Mason Graham? Damn. Zabel and Izaraku. Yeah, that seems to be some of the consensus players. Yeah, give me like a 3-5. Kenneth Grant, yeah, Kenneth Grant would be good, especially with the Liam out for a bit. Top 5 most wanted for Detroit: Malik, Gray, Zabel, Donovan Izaraku, Derek Harmon, Nick. Hang on a minute. I think we're back. Okay, yeah, we're back. For some reason, my Wi-Fi went weird there. Okay, we're back. We're back. Is it good? Is it working well? Yeah, for some reason it was on my hotspot and it automatically switched over to my house Wi-Fi. I don't know why it did that. But we good? Okay. All right, cool. Apologies for that. Let me hide that comment. Scorton, Derek Harmon. Yeah, Derek Harmon would be good. All right, cool. We're good. Okay. All right, how about I'll get into my most wanted list for my maybe yell at my mom. I might. Yeah, we'll do that. I'm gonna get into my most wanted list for the Los Angeles Rams here. Just to give you guys a flavor of what whoa, that was gonna sound weird. Just to give you guys a that was gonna go bad. To give you guys a sense of the players that I want to join the Los Angeles Rams. There we go. I fixed it. Okay. All right, we got Etienne's. Yeah. We'll just move on from that. I got a dirty mind. Let's pull this up. Etienne's. You guys are assholes, man. Etienne's most wanted for the Los Angeles Rams. A matter of taste. It's just a matter of taste, brother. All right. All right. Let's get popping. My number one player, I don't know if he's going to be there, but damn it, if he is, bring Jahdae Barron home. Bring him home. Our secondary is very old, and I'm not sure if it's a Super Bowl winning secondary. Okay, well, kind of regret putting that on the screen. Jahdae Barron, though, I think that this man's going to be elite in the NFL. I think he has a case to be over Will Johnson. I'll tell you that right now. He can line up outside. He can even line up as a safety. He can line up in the nickel. Very versatile, physical, plays with a lot of heart. Had 5 picks on the year, a 34 passer rating allowed when targeted. This dude is a beast. He's a beast, and he flourishes in zone coverage. I think he is a slot in the NFL as well, and we could use a slot. Quentin Lake is a good slot, but he's coming to the end of his contract, and I think Jahdae Barron's obviously going to be better than Quentin Lake, and I think he would help us against the run as well. He's great in zone coverage. Chris Shula loves to run zone coverage, play in the SEC. I think this is a terrific fit. I don't think he's going to be there 26, but if he is, you do not pass up on bringing Jahdae Barron to the Rams. If he's there at 26, you absolutely bring him here. Number 2, Jahad Campbell. Only problem with this, Les Snead does not like linebackers, or at least he doesn't value them very high. When we won the Super Bowl, Troy Reeder was our Mike linebacker. We got rid of Ernest Jones for a pack of Doritos. We don't draft linebackers early, notoriously. Phil, what up? How we doing, Phil? But yeah, what was I saying? So I don't think this is super likely to happen. However, if Jahad Campbell, if he's a Ram, oh man, we need an extra linebacker. We really do. Omar Spates is showing promise, but he's mostly a run defender. We need a linebacker that can just do everything, and I think Jahad Campbell is that. He's great in coverage. He's really good against the run. He can rush the passer. He gets picks. He's athletic as hell. He's sideline to sideline linebacker. Had 5 sacks on the year, 6'3", 244, 32-inch arms. He fits the mold of an all-pro linebacker. And I think if you add him to this defense to kind of replace Ernest Jones, that is actually very accurate, Anakin. It doesn't bite us in the ass as much. But I do think that adding Jihad Campbell to this defense would be so good. It would be so good. He's so versatile. He's such a dog. Like I said, he fits the mold of what a linebacker should look like. And we do need a linebacker because as of right now, we got Omar Spates, Troy Reeder, Nate Landman. We signed him. I don't know who the hell he is. We need a linebacker. Now, I wouldn't mind if we took a Chris Paul Jr. in the third. Wouldn't mind it at all. But I would love Jihad Campbell to be a Ram. I really would. Number 3, I got Colston Loveland, man. I think Colston Loveland would be a demon in this Rams offense. And Tyler Higbee is only getting older. And Colston Loveland, he's just a matchup nightmare. He's like 6'6". He's great after the catch. He's got great hands. He runs great routes. Like I said, 6'5", 245. He can line up. He could line up on the outside, and he can line up as a tight end. He's gonna be really good in the NFL. Oh my God, Malik likes Chris Paul Jr. Oh my God. Oh, this dude is my favorite man on earth. Jesus Christ. But we have pick 26, Coach Walk. Pick 26. But yeah. But Loveland, I think you put him on the Rams offense. How you guarding Puka Tay and Loveland? Like I said in my mock draft, he gets to learn under Higbee. He's not under pressure to be the tight end one right away. Sean McVay would love an extra weapon like Colston Loveland. I think Matthew Stafford would love a weapon like Colston Loveland. He's just a dog. He's just a dog, man. You put him and Puka on the same offense. Oh my God! And he's a decent little run blocker as well for Kyren Williams. And he's only 21 as well. He's got 10 plus years in him. He's gonna be a great player. I think he is probably the most likely out of this list to be drafted by the Rams. That is the problem, though. I am scared that he will go to the Chargers. If he slips past the Chargers, we got a shot, and I would be jumping up and down if we got Colston Loveland. Number 4, Siobhan Revel, man. I think he is underrated as hell. If he doesn't get hurt, he is getting projected way higher than he is right now. Played really well. He got a pick 6 this year, I believe. 48 pass rating, 11 targeted. 6'3", long limbs. He's very physical. He's very good in man. He's got good zone instincts. He's a willing tackler. He's solid against the run. Obviously the injury isn't ideal, but I don't think a torn ACL is a death sentence anymore. Like, I think you can come back from that easily. And I agree with Malik 100%. He should be cornerback 4, in my opinion. The only 3 that are better are Travis Hunter, Will Johnson, and Jahdae Barron. I think Siobhan Revel is going to be really good in the NFL. And I think when you look at defensive players, you look at Quinyon Mitchell, Max Crosby. I think I'm missing someone as well, but these smaller schools, man, they generate some dogs. If you're getting noticed at East Carolina, you got to be a baller. And I think Siobhan Revel's got it, man. I think he's really good. I love tall, rangy corners who are physical. And he can do that. He's great at playing the ball. There's nothing to complain about with Colston Loveland. With Siobhan Revel, the only thing that you can is the game time they play. But as a player, he's really good. I think he's very underrated, and he should be ready for training camp. So I think Siobhan Revel is going to be great in the league, and I would love it if we could trade back, because there is rumors that we're going to trade back. I think we probably will. If we can trade back and still get Revel, A+++ move from Les Snead. And then at number 5, Nick Emanwori. We don't really need a safety. We've got Cameron Curl. He's nice. We got Cameron Kitchens. But we could use some depth there. And Cameron Curl, he's going to be due a contract soon, I think. I might be wrong. But I think he might be. I think Nick Emanwori and Cameron Kitchens as a safety duo for the next 4 or 5 years would be, that would be lethal. Nick Emanwori is an absolute psycho. He's like what is he, 6'3"? Let me look him up real quick just so I get this right. 6'3", 230. Hits like a truck. I believe he had 2 pick 6s on the year. He's a bit risky. He's a boomer bust prospect, but you know what? Screw it. Chris Shula, get him in there with Chris Shula. Get him next to Cameron Kitchens. Get him, in that safety room with Cameron Curl, an experienced player. I think Nick Monowari has the potential to be great. He hits like a truck. He's a ball hawk. He could line up at safety. You could probably put him in the nickel and just take out a guy as well. He could even play a linebacker at his size. Klotz would call him a tree planter. That is exactly right, Anakin. Nick Monowari is going to be terrific in the league. I think he's the best safety in this draft. And if he falls, I wouldn't mind us taking him either. Like, we could use a versatile guy like him on our defense, which is why I put Barron on this list, is why I almost put Malachi Starks there. I think Nick Monowari, as an athlete, is just a freak. And I think that he would be a great addition on the Rams defense. So, yeah, those are my top 5. Malachi Starks just missed the list. Matthew Golden just missed the list. If we didn't take Adams, Matthew Golden would be number 1. But I think he's number like 6 or 7 right now. But those are my 5 names for the Rams that I would love if we drafted. How's the Lakers game going? Let me check. Wi-Fi still good? Oh my God. They're kicking the shit out of him. They're slaughtered. They really are. 36-19. Jeez. And that's going to be a good series, man. It's going to be a good series. Hold up. Let me look that up. How many points has Luka got? 16? Sheesh. Yeah. Damn. All right. So before I get out of here, we'll do I want to ask a legit question. I want feedback. I want to know from you guys, compared to like maybe the Crunch Time guys and from people you've heard of, how does my analysis stack up? Like, am I good to listen to? Do I come across as a person who really does know what I'm talking about? Because I do want to know. Because I do sometimes doubt my takes at times. Just my self-esteem and my takes isn't as high as it could be. So I am always wondering, ooh, am I right? Does this make sense? So I do want to ask you guys whether you think, like, do you guys appreciate my analysis? Is it informative? Is it worth your time listening to me? I want to ask very much so. I appreciate that, Xavier. Appreciate it, Malik. My man, Phil. And don't lie to me, by the way, as well. If you say no, I get it. I'm all for constructive criticism, but if you guys think I'm great, then cool. I just wanted to ask. Because obviously it's only like my second show back. Still getting back into it. So, like, I was wondering, because, like, you see shades of Jeff Iafrate, really? The analysis is the analysis is very thorough and thought through. That was a bit of a tongue twister. Thorough and thought through. I just wish we had more people in here. We'll get there. Don't worry. I'm fine with. To be honest, if we had a bigger audience, I'd probably be a little more intimidated. Like, I'm cool with it just being like 10 or like 7. And I know you guys well, so I am cool. Like, this is preparing me for the bigger audiences, but we'll get there. I was laughing at doing great. I appreciate it, man. All right, we'll do a should we do a quick mailbag? And then we'll get out of here. All friends here. Shout out Phil. Hey Phil, that guitar was sick. Overall, very good job. Appreciate you guys. We'll do a quick mailbag. Any questions you have? Okay. Be yourself, Etienne. You're doing great. Nobody's going to agree with you 100% of the time. You got to do this more consistently is key. Yeah, I agree. I am going to. I think I'm going to do around between 2 to 3 shows a week. I'm going to come up with some content. I know it gets a bit dry after the draft, but I'll come up with stuff. I'm going to do it more consistently now. I think I'm in the right headspace for it now. Yeah, I'd appreciate that. Hell yeah. Get me that fucking ukulele, Phil. Get on it. I do like. I think my time in the chat has definitely like toughened me up. Like, I don't get as offended as I used to when people disagree with me, you know. I do understand that. It's part of it. I wouldn't say I got offended, but like, I definitely have thicker skin For sure. I have thought of doing film reviews for players. Might do a Cam Ward one, a Shedeur one. But yeah, Lenore Sellers, Cam Newton-esque. Make sure you do a trivia show too. Everybody loves that. Okay. The feedback is appreciated. The feedback is appreciated. Chat's gonna be brutal, yeah. Especially when the Rams lost to the Lions. And you say one thing, and like that's part of the reason why I wanted to do a show, was so I could get my thoughts fully out there without being constricted to like a certain amount of words, you know? Because sometimes people take what I say and they misconstrue it, and maybe something I say, the tone comes across maybe a little different than what I meant it to. Whereas on here, you guys can fully understand what I mean, you know? I was a troll. Like, I did understand why. Like, I knew what I was doing. But yeah, I took the heat. I had to take a whole lot of heat. But yeah, that's one of the main reasons why I want to do a show. But God, you guys are funny. Any mailbag questions? If not, we'll head out of here. I'll make sure to. I might do a show tomorrow. I'm doing a better job of understanding Xavier's jokes. They used to confuse me sometimes, but I'm understanding them better. I know that wasn't a joke, but I'm just saying. When you write something on here, it can definitely be taken. Yeah, for sure. 100%. Good job, buddy. You're the man, Xavier. I appreciate you guys. Have you thought about maybe adding some RAM? I have, yes. I have. I might. I've got a Rams like thing on my desk. And Xavier D is hilarious. He is the man. Yeah. Story time with Xavier is cinema. White background, need a poster. I might do it. I kind of like the authentic look of this, but I have thought of adding a background. But yeah, all right. 10:51 over there. Shout out you guys. Dude, I've been working at a Second City in Chicago, or at Second City in Chicago for 35 fucking years. I better be at least a little entertaining. You are, man. You crack me up every day. It's funny. It's funny stuff. All right. Well, shout out to all you guys. Make sure you like the stream if you haven't. Shout out Xavier, Phil, Coach, Anakin. Shift was here for a bit as well. The Dull Spoon, Malik. You guys are great. You guys are the GOATs. Appreciate you tuning in. I might have a show for you guys tomorrow. I might cook up some trivia again, as it was requested. And yeah, we'll let everybody watch the Lakers kick the shit out of the Timberwolves. All right. Appreciate you guys for tuning in again. Hope you enjoyed the show. I will see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow. Deuces. Till later, Malik. Hey, Chris Paul Jr. Chris Paul Jr. That's all I'm going to say. Shout out. All right. Deuces. I was like Jeff.